Thailand, unlike its neighboring countries that underwent a series of transitions in culture due to colonization, is a country that was not colonized by Europeans. Therefore, it is always proud to possess a strong sense of pride and nationalism. However, when it comes to modern era, despite various opportunities, Thai's mass tourism has brought about certain threats to the country's cultures. Professor Cherry agreed that there are still some negative influences that are worth concerning.
A lot of tourists come to Thailand that actually can influence Thai language. Certain gesture, for example, like when Thai people meet each other before, they are just going to do this gesture that we call why. So nowadays you don't see people doing that much anymore. They will end up like, hey, hi, things like that. So they start picking up those things from tourism that actually influence.
According to Cherry, these slight changes may detrimentally touch the Thai's nationalism simply because the idea of nationalism is somehow distorted when common cultural materials, here she mentions Thai's iconic gestures, are less widespread in Thailand than before. The popularity of Thai food in the world also boosted nationalism among Thais, and according to Sunanta 2005, Vancouver State in Canada embraces this nationalist sentiment to market Thai's culture overseas. However, the globalization of Thai cuisine unwittingly exerts adverse impacts on the cultural nationalism of Thais.
Thai cuisine, it's being modified. Like maybe a lot of tourists come to Thailand and they taste certain food that is like Thai cuisine, and originally it could be very hot and very spicy, very sour, and so by adapting those tastes to fit people across the world, that also tend to change the taste of Thai people as well, because they get to expose to toned down version of their Thai cuisine. So nowadays, if you really want to taste a real genuine Thai cuisine, it's very difficult.
Thai cuisine seems to be turned into multicultural products, as the taste that the tourists try may be a hybridity of the preferable flavors from many countries, a mixture between their own culture and Thai's. This case can be worse when there is a public concern that pseudo-Thai restaurants may damage the global reputation of Thai cuisine. Thailand has so much to offer that its cuisine isn't the only thing pulling curious foreigners in. Sex tourism has been extremely popular. Despite the government's attempt to eradicate the industry in 2016, the provocative attraction didn't sway. Foreigners are pouring in for risque activities, as Kiran saw it for himself.
It's kind of normal for a person to see that the whole sex tourism thing as the norm, you know? People don't alienate people who's in that sort of place. But from a person who's not in that district, it's still a taboo subject. It's still a thing that they're ashamed of, because most of Thailand are still pretty conservative, like most of the Asian countries.
Although Thailand hasn't been colonized, the Western concept of modernity is highly visible at its red light districts, ironically within this conservative country. The locals have changed their perception to adapt and profit from it.
This is actually sad in the way of like a lot of female that came from poorer family in the rural area find that this is one of the way for quick money. It could be partly influenced from tourism that was materialism. So a lot of young people see tourists coming here having iPhones, having really cool MacBook, and then they want one too. So young girls, sadly, then they thought that this is the way for them to upgrade themselves.
Sex tourism, undeniably, is a leverage to Thailand's economy. Lose the balance, and its culture and citizens will suffer. As tourism exerts impact on Thailand culture, it is also vital to analyze the effect it has on native citizens. Tourism in Thailand boosts the economy enormously, leading to the rise in investments and government earnings. However, its drawbacks now outweigh its benefits in the natives' lands.
They will talk about the fact that it's because they're so poor and they wish somebody would do something about the poverty. Parts of Thailand that tourists see look very wealthy, very nice, very shiny, very open, beautiful beaches. That's what we see. But what they see and what I've traveled through are extremely poor parts of the country where there's not much choice.
Thailand tourism achieves a rapid growth but without careful planning. This leads to three problems against the local. First, they are very conscious about environmental degradation, namely noise and air pollution. This mainly stems from construction activities and the tourist mindless littering. Researcher Pan Song-won also agrees.
When you run tourism, you consume natural resources and you interrupt the balance of life pace of people. The local people's behavior are changing toward influences from outside the country.
Second is the lack of communication between the government and the local. They are forced to change their lifestyle to avoid tourist spots. According to Nguyen Thi Truc 2013, they even undergo mental stress under the rise of tourism.
They're very careful not to say this openly unless they trust you, but it makes them frustrated that their political system does not do more to make the people have better lives so that they don't send their family members to do this kind of work. So like with all countries in the world, they look to the government and say, why are we so poor?
Third, there have been conflicts between the native and tourists. Reportedly, the latter have a tendency to disregard the local communities as poor and powerless. In addition, the cultural differences and sexual interactions are the usual causes to create the tensions. These issues are underlying threat to the locals' lives. Famous for friendly people, Thailand can struggle with promotion without the native support. Or worse, furious fights can erupt anytime. As for solutions, the government should care more for the citizens and treat them more equally. They are the country's main stakeholders. Furthermore, Thailand can focus more on culture tourism as it can equip tourists with an adequate knowledge about the country and have them act more responsibly while traveling.